Okay, we are ready to begin. Thanks for coming out tonight on this beautiful Thursday, especially compared to what we've had here. So, 60-degree difference when you walk out at 37 degrees, despite 20 below. So, again, thanks for being here. I am Ryan Pat, Associate Principal, one of our Associate Principals here at Waukesha West High School. And I will have the rest of the team introduce themselves.
Katie Acker, I teach photography.
Leslie Buzo, school counselor here.
Brandon Darski, business marketing teachers. Mike Miller, English and video production telecommunications.
So this is the team that's been really working on this track journey and this track experience, as it's called. So I'll get going. We're trying to get to the questions as soon as we can, because I know you hopefully will have a lot of them. We'll try to give you the baseline information, and then we'll go from there. So track, your journey begins here. It's a new learning environment offered through us, elective area courses. So this is in lieu of a specific elective. You would take a track elective. But it's not a core area class, it's an elective area course. Students can create their own learning experiences through personalized learning plans. It's guided by the clear principle that what we do is what's best for students. Everything we do is what's best for students, but it's just another offering that we want what's best for students. Using the principle of collaborative relationships and making schoolwork relevant, our goal is to connect learner interests to relevant and meaningful learning experiences. In the end, students drive what they want to learn and how they want to learn it, and that's really the key. It's student-driven. It's not a curriculum piece where we say, here are these targets that you have to meet in this manner. This is student-designed learning and student-driven learning. 3 questions. Student learning is driven by the 3 essential questions on the left side. What do students want to learn? How will they learn it? And how will they show what they learn? We stole that right from Horning Middle School and from the Flight Academy, which is a personalized learning offering to the middle school. Butler students, if there's any students that have gone to Butler, they have what's called Quest, which is a similar environment. So these are personalized pieces that we're seeing across the district that we're offering here as well. Students will be assessed through connections, collaboration, and communication. We're going to dive into what that really looks like. Right after I'm done talking, we're going to go into kind of our rubric and some of the feedback and assessment processes we're looking to give our students for real-world application. Some of our core beliefs, and really I just kind of highlighted really some of the key words. Each learner is unique and is on their own personal learning journey. Each learner follows their passion, and that's probably the key word that we're trying to offer to our students is really their passion. What are they passionate about? Again, our curriculum has some limited offering opportunities, and this offers students the opportunity to find something that they're passionate about that they can dive into in a way that works for them. The passion and their purpose. Learners have a choice. So again, you have a choice to do what you need to do and a voice. You have to say it, not necessarily your teacher telling you it needs to be this, this, and this, but our staff here really guiding you and being a mentor and supporting you in what you want to accomplish in your goals. So what is the track experience? Students are required to focus on the individual experience, so what it's going to look like over a semester. So students are expected to do an individual experience that they're, again, going to answer those 3 essential questions for, and they're going to be guided by that. We want them to connect to one of the 16 career clusters. So there are 16 national career clusters that are out there. We're going to share those with you a little bit later. Students have been exposed to those at West High School through sending out through email in different pieces. But again, one of them is science, technology, engineering, math. We have a STEM school in the district, so that's a familiar one. You have medical field, you have manufacturing, engineering, etc. So those are all the different clusters. Whatever the student experience is, we want to relate that to one of those clusters and show that connection for that real-world application at some level. Students will have a choice to answer those questions in their own way, like I said. Students also will have to have a semester project that is a group project. And that group project is really something that's going to better the community. It can be the West community here at West High School. It can be the Waukesha communities. It can be the worldwide community. So what that might look like, I know that Mrs. Acker is going to give you kind of an example a little bit later on what that might look like. We do have some pilot experiences that are happening here this second semester, some individual students. I don't know if any students are here tonight that might be doing that. But Nursing Flight for Life, and these are ones that we've heard of. These are all subject to change. Concert photography, special effects costumes, drone work, band management, and telecommunications are some of the passion subject areas that students are going to pilot course this second semester of this year. Why track? Well, talking about the email that I sent out to to our students. We sent a survey to them, and these are some of the areas. I gave them the 16 career clusters, a link to go through those very quickly to see some that pique their interest. A lot of students already have a couple ideas of what they want to do, so they got this to us pretty quickly. You can see our students gave us some of the areas they're focused on. Science, technology, STEM, engineering, and math was our largest area where students said they are interested in it, which is not, again, surprising based on some of the offerings and experiences we have in our district. And then if you take a look at if they're interested in the experience. So I gave them the one-page flyer that you have. It's not super detailed, but it offers some of the key components. And they said if they would be interested in it or not. And about half the kids say, this is something that sounds pretty interesting. I'd like to learn more about it. So definitely there's an interest. And with, again, the things that are happening in the district, North High School has what's called Inspire, where they're focused on their core areas, but they do a personalized learning piece. And South High School has the academies, the Engineering Academy and the Health Academy, where they're moving towards some more personalized pieces. And then this has been in the works for a couple of years, but we really want to offer another option for our kids to have their passion come through. So, and then passion through personalization. So personalized learning it's a different lens of learning. And the honeycomb is something that is really, we take from CESOL 1. This is kind of the framework for all the work we're doing around trying to give your child a really good experience. This is the framework we reference that keeps us on track to make sure that we are kind of meeting the needs of personalization for your students. So if you take a look at kind of the three cores, that's the entire honeycomb on that side, but I just zoomed in on the middle. I really want to focus on customized learning paths and proficiency-based progress, learner profiles. Those are the three pieces. So this is a customized program. Students, again, come in with an idea. They set their goal. They look at what that's going to be like. And then we backtrack, and then we go long-term goal, and then we go back and do short-term goals based on what their passion area is. We're going to dive into, again, what that looks like a little bit more here in just a moment. So what does that really mean? So what are we trying to accomplish? We have a 60-student cap for first semester next year. That we're looking to get 60 students signed up. We'll have a selected lottery system, if applicable. If we don't have enough applicants by the time we have this all said and done, then we won't have to be selected. But if we did, we want people to give us a proposal. So what you got tonight with the sheet you have has a QR code on the bottom of it. It also has the URL site that you can go to. That's really where you're privy to this information. You're the first people to get this, so you're first dibs to sign up and kind of show us what a proposal might look like from you. To kind of think about something that can be a journey for your son or daughter next semester. Again, we're going to give you kind of a little bit of an example, and then we'll start to answer questions, and that will hopefully help form a little better image of what this might be. To be considered for track, you must attend this meeting and access the sign-up form that I referenced by next week, Friday. So take this, you can stay here tonight, kind of when we finish, and go to the QR code or type in the URL and do what you need to do, or go home, talk about it, discuss it. By Friday next week, I'm going to look for you to be signed up if it's something that you're interested in, and we're going to go from there. So my information is on this presentation. This presentation is available right now on our school's website. It's a little different because it was done during 8th grade night, but it's a screencast if you haven't watched it. On the end of it, that information is there. The one thing that I did not give to you specifically was my contact information if you have more questions that we were going to tonight, so I apologize for that. But it is in the screencast on the main page. It is on our website underneath administration, and then Ryan Pat. So please contact me with some questions and some pieces. Any one of the teachers here as well you can contact, but I'm trying to keep it simple for everybody, so my information is out there. So, all right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hand it over to my colleagues over here. Who's up first?
I think I'm the Ruben.
Yes.
As parents and probably as students, one of the things you are probably wondering is how is the student going to be assessed and graded? I mean, what does this all look like? If the student is creating their own project, well then is the student also grading their own project? The answer is kind of. I mean, it's a collaborative process between student and teachers. Certainly there's some negotiating in what the student wants to learn and how the student wants to demonstrate that learning. In all, we have a rubric where we have 3 very specific skills we're looking at. The first one, collaboration. As you see in blue, collaboration consists of students working with other people interdependently to solve a problem. After that, Mr. Pence can scroll down to the next thing. Connections. This is where students are actively engaging in the research process and discovering what it is that they want to learn. So Connections deals with students engaging in the research process to find resources that can help them find the answers to their questions. And the last rubric, the last skill that we're looking at is communication. And that's where students create the mode of communication, the venue of communication, to display what it is they want to learn. That may be a recital off campus at a different location, and they're videotaping themselves. It may be a presentation to our school board, maybe a presentation in the classroom. It could be really a lot of different things. So within those three areas of collaboration, connections, and communication, there are different sub-skills that I'll briefly go up. So Mr. Banfield, go back up to the beginning, please. All right, in the area of collaboration, what we're looking at is some real-life skills, regardless if you're in school or in your workplace 10 years after graduating from school. Things like learning how to negotiate, make decisions, how to contribute ideas and support others' ideas, how to communicate within a group setting. Plus, see the bottom one, monitoring and adapting. One of the things that's really nice about this rubric is we will be demanding with students to continually self-assess, monitor, adapt. Because one of the things about a personalized learning plan like this, environment like this, students think, I'm going to learn this, and I'm going to go in this direction. Well, we all know that that's not reality. This is really what the journey looks like. So we will be constantly challenging the students to monitor, adapt, change, and go with the flow, so to speak. The next one, connections. We're looking at the students being able to set goals, plan, and show initiation and ownership to what it is they want to learn and how they want to learn it. And likewise, you see it engaging in the process and at the bottom, self-awareness, adaptation, where they're constantly asking themselves, am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing in this particular skill set? And the last one, communication, the sub-skills being the students' ability to establish meaning and communicate properly and get their message across to their audience. Likewise, how to properly deliver the message in the venue that they've chosen. And of course, very asked to monitor and adapt. And all I will say this about the rubric, regardless of which skill we're looking at, whether it's collaborations, connections, communication, if you were to read all the fine print, the A stuff is where the students are, yes, they're guided by a teacher, but they're self-motivated, they're leaders within their own process, and they're leaders within the classroom, the group, whereas down at the other end, the incomplete evidence and the D range, that's where the teacher is constantly prompting, where are you at with this? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? So that's kind of gives you, regardless of what the skill, kind of a broad spectrum of each skill. From I'm owning my learning and I'm going to be doing this, but of course help the teacher and other live sources, and we will help students connect with all the way down to I don't know what I'm doing, 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 and that's where this goes. If you have any questions later on about the rubric, what we've created, why we've created it, please feel free to ask any one of us, or myself particularly, because like Mr. Pat said earlier, a lot of what we've created really isn't that original. There's schools all over the United States and in the area doing these very same things.
We steal and we customize and modify for West High School, so we'll continue to do that as we start the journey with our students. So
We are adapting and monitoring ourselves.
that's good. Very well. So we're going to talk about the journey, kind of the goal setting piece, the 10,000 foot view down to the 1,000 foot view. So it's very nice to work out.
All right, so this is a week-by-week kind of trek schedule we set up for the kids. Do they have to follow this, piece for piece? Not exactly, just kind of the pilot piece we set up. Week one, we said kind of set the foundation, so give the kids an example of what this looks like. All right, walk them through it, and then get them researching and brainstorming, whatever that idea is. All right, let them dive into it and take a look at what that big goal piece might be. So week two, we want to get a goal set. All right, create a personal learning plan for that student. Week three is when they kind of start to truly dive in. All right, whether that be networking with a professional, or that be more research, or looking for job shadowing opportunities. And after each week, we're going to have them set their goal on day one, and then on day 4, take a look and reflect on that goal and share out with us on how they think they did. Week 5, once again, we're going to share out kind of give a presentation on what they have learned up to this point. Whether that presentation be a video they made, maybe they talk to the class, maybe they write a paper, however they feel they need to share what they have discovered so far. Week 6, we start to dive into the group project. We figured to dive into the group project week 6. We didn't want to overload the students right away, let them get their feet wet with their individual projects first, and then bring in the group project. So we'll set our kind of expectations for the group project, whether that be minimal volunteer hours or community service hours. The students can get their groups and figure out what that group project might look like. So from week 7 to week 14, kind of the idea that we were looking at was day 1, the group could meet together, whether that be the group meets for 5 minutes or 50 minutes, kind of discussing what needs to be done for that week. All right, and then the next days would be them researching and goal setting for their individual projects. So one day a week they're together in the group, the rest of the 3 days they're working still on their individual projects. And then down through, you can see here at week 15, then they present their group project and peer-to-peer, that would then be their summative piece. Week 16 through 18 is then 3 weeks for them to kind of finalize their individual project to get ready to present on that week 18.
Diving back into, that was kind of our framework for keeping us on track. Again, that's all subject to change based on kind of as we go about this, but that was just a basic framework. Students need to take that semester look as well and think about what's my end goal and how I'm going to look at it week to week and what do I want to accomplish. And then we're going to dive into more specifics, which is where the mentorship of the teachers come into play. So this is basically our weekly goal setting process. Again, this is our starting place, not our ending point, but students are continuing to log and fill out their thought process. They're going to reflect as a group continuously, and the teachers are going to be there to help them reflect and to help reset the goal. Mr. Miller specifically talked about the path of getting there. So we set goals. We know sometimes things get in the way, things happen. You take it this way, you take it that way. So then let's reset those goals, let's look at everything, and then start down this path. And that's really the experience of the journey. And from there, sometimes the path goes in a little bit of a different direction. We expect it to happen, we invite it to happen. Again, we're not trying to put limits on this, but we're putting frameworks in play, and then we're going to start to branch off there where the kids drive it. We're going to go and try to keep them on somewhat of the road, not on the gravel, but on the road, but that road is going to turn in line, and we're going to go with it. So that's the general process of goal setting for our students.
So as I've been talking to my kids in class, a lot of kids are really pricking up their ears because they're looking at it in 2 ways. Either it's a way to get some career experience while in high school. And I give them an example. I always knew I wanted to be an art teacher. In elementary school, I remember going in during my recess to help the kindergarten class in the art. So when I was sending out my resume for jobs, it was really easy for me to list all of the things that I've done. Versus fellow classmates in college, some of them didn't get into a classroom situation until their 3rd year of college when they realized it's not for me. And they're like, no, now I'm going to pay for a whole other year of school because I'm going to go a completely different direction. This is a way that kids can get out making professional connections, doing job shadowing, feeling out a career choice potentially. And the other way is that kids can now get into something that we currently don't offer. So if a student wants to do something in costume making, we can now actually give them credit for learning about it. And they get to dictate what it is that they learn. So let's run you guys through an example of what this could look like. The other thing that has not been touched upon yet is that this is a blended class. If you guys don't know what blended is yet, it's the potential where the kid can validate, I need 2 days off this week to go shadow a professional that I'm in contact with. We can say, okay, you're good to go. And they don't have to show up to class for those 2 days. It's something I've been currently doing with my seminar photography kiddos, and man, do they like it. Because now when they go and take photos on the weekends for 3 hours at a time, they can actually come to school that day and during that class period, work on their English homework that they skipped out on. So, here's an example track experience that we have for you guys that we've mocked up. So we talked about the two components. We've got the personal component, which is student driven, and it's hopefully based on a student's passion. The other component is where we're forcefully trying to get those kids to not only work collaboratively with each other, but within the community as well. So there's the three questions that the students have to answer. And at first, I know, especially as a student, it might be a little overwhelming to have to look at these questions and be like, oh my gosh, how do I not only answer these, but come up with something that's going to get me an A through an entire semester. But that's what we're here for, the teachers. We're going to help guide those students along the way. So the first one is how do you decide what you're going to learn? So it's essentially a statement. Okay, I want to dive into something photography related, hopefully concert photography. Not exactly sure what that might look like yet, but I've got a vague idea of the direction that I want to go. All right, just dictating. What is it going to look like over an entire semester's worth of time? We don't have to finalize that in the beginning. We're going to outline it, and as we kind of talk about it, it's not set in stone. Along the way, it might change. But we're going to come up with a vague outline of what that might look like. I'm going to make a professional contact. I'm going to actually contact a venue like the Rave and see if they have professional photographers that they specifically hire up to. Can I actually get their email, their phone number contact, and actually meet up with them, sit down, interview them? Can I actually shadow them? How cool would that be for a high school kid? We get to go not only to a concert, but possibly backstage. Oh my gosh, right? The final piece, how are you going to showcase it? It could be a gallery. You print out your images, you go through the whole process of matting them, putting on a show, inviting in friends, family, administration, teachers, fellow students, public, making connections on the internet, asking for feedback not only from teachers, but from other people across the United States as well. The group piece. Now, I put together an example of probably like the most basic group piece. We're hoping kids eventually ramp this up and take this a little bit farther, hopefully. So, group of students, I'm not going to take the group pieces seriously maybe at this point, but I want to at least earn my hours because I took this because I wanted to do my personal piece. So, all right, the minimum requirements would be to do some volunteer hours, somewhere within hopefully the community. Now, we did talk about a West piece potentially. It could be something like cleaning up the area around here, picking up trash. Maybe you want to create a garden outside, that would be fine as well. Again, none of this is set in stone. We're hoping that students will propose ideas, and we will tell those kiddos if it's a great idea, yes, run with it, or let's work together and try to come up with something better. So in this scenario, these kiddos set up a time where they wanted to actually go and put in some hours in a nursing home. So as a group, they had to dictate when, as a group, they were going to go and on a weekly basis put in some hours. This is again something we want them to do collaboratively versus independently. Because it'd be really easy to say, okay, I got my 20 hours and I'm done. But again, we want this done as a group so that that collaboration is happening. And then the final piece, how are they going to showcase that they did it? So maybe they come up with a video. They actually put together a video of the group working with individuals that were in the nursing home. Maybe they actually showcase art projects that they did together. Maybe it's a video interview of just the person that they were working with, talking about what their take was on the students coming in and working with them.
Can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
The group you said that, it's not making sense to me.
Okay.
Is that connected to the elective area that the student is studying, or just a random group project? Evidencing collaborative process.
We're leaving it up to the kids. If they want to make it connected to something that they're passionate about, that's the direction we want them to go. But if they don't, it's not going to be a requirement. So there's the personal piece where each student focuses on something that they want to know about and learn more about. The group piece is that collaborative. We want them to work together on something bigger than just themselves.
It's simply something to better the community. It's trying to get them more connected beyond one classroom, but to a greater community. Whether that community is Waukesha West, Waukesha, City of Waukesha, Waukesha County, State of Wisconsin, whatever it might be. It's simply a community building project.
Sizes and groups. It depends partially on class size for next year, which is dependent on how many kids you will. We were thinking groups of 4 to 5, but we're not against smaller or bigger groups depending on if they justify it. Did I see another hand up?
That was my question, I got right up first.
And really, again, so as we're sitting up here giving examples and talking about what we see and we're using videos, our adult minds are fairly finite. Your child minds have passion and creativity that goes beyond what we can fathom on some level, and this is the opportunity to really tap into that and allow that to happen. So when we say group project, absolutely want to better the community, but if a group works a certain way together, and they have something that is not specifically bettering the community, but it's just a project they can agree upon, and they're going to work really hard to do the same, ask the standard questions and set goals the same way, absolutely we're on board with that. This is just really us rallying around something where we know when we're working in a group setting, we all have to contribute on some level, and we want that to happen. That is a real life skill that our students see more and more in the everyday classroom, but this is a little bit different avenue or venue to do it. That collaboration is key. They will self-assess each other, they will give feedback to each other, and they will have to work with each other, and that will sometimes not probably go very well, and that's where the learning will occur, but they're going to get feedback, and we'll expect our kids to work through it.
So will the groups be randomly put together, or will they be based on their passions, like, medical field passion versus engineering passion? Or if you have a medical and a nursing home engineer, all that kind of
So,
difference?
I'm going to do the best with the scheduling once I get the proposals to put course of light students together, especially for the first round, so they can run ideas off of each other and continue that collaboration. That's where my talk on if they work well together and they have something that they can do together, we're going to take it. But based on other schedules and different things, that may not work out exactly. So then we would, in our first couple weeks, do an assessment of how those groups are going to work together, and probably give the kids quite a bit of choice, and really try to go through that and dive into that in a way that makes sense.
Well, as I'm talking to kids in class, and again, there's a lot of kids that are kind of perking up the ears to this. Oh my gosh, they are so creative. They have so many directions that they want to go that admittedly, it's going to be hard for us to try and keep one class period in just one type of direction that they want to go. I do foresee us having multiple different students going different directions in the same hour.
Is the track hour going to be scheduled like a math hour, so there's a track hour during the day? Is that
Yes.
your
Yep.
intention?
Absolutely.
Some students may have a first hour, some students may have a second hour, and that's where Mr. Pat said in the QR code that's on that flyer, and the UR and the web address, if you want that sent. When you, those that are interested in doing this, when you pitch to us what it is you want to learn, we're potentially going to group kids together that way to help collaborate some resources that way.
Every semester, I have students in my office that have these incredible imaginative ideas of independent studies. And every semester, up until now, I have not been able to offer them any kind of opportunity to follow those independent studies because we've never had staff that maybe can be able to monitor them, help them through this. And we've always had a barrier of what will colleges think. If you have a very obscure independent study on your transcript and you're applying to a competitive university, in the past that hasn't been something that has favored very well for students up until now. So I just want to talk a little bit about those two key things. This class is going to be considered an elective credit. And no matter what the student is going to focus on, it will be tied to one of the 16 career clusters. And when we show it on the transcript, it's going to say the name of the career cluster and then probably truck next to it something to signify this. When students apply to universities, we submit a school profile. So they have an idea of how many AP classes do we offer, what's your population, things like that. And there'll be a report where I can put information about what TREC is. So that's what it will look like on the transcript, and it will count towards an elective. I've reached out to some of my college admission counselor contacts, and they've said we've been anticipating courses like this ever since the new state legislation, and that the class that we're offering sounds like a good fit for many students. The new legislation that they're referring to is just this challenge for schools to move away from the idea of seat times and looking at learning in a different way, and this is a way that we're meeting that. So again, this is something that college admissions counselors are expecting to see, and they like what we're doing.
Really, the last piece of business that I have is just to go and show you the Trek Goal form. So once you take the QR code or the URL address that is on those sheets, if you didn't get it, make sure you grab one. That's your opportunity to go in and sign up. So a couple pieces you see are just last name, first name. That is the student. Sure, go ahead. Current grade level, and then again, you have a week of time here to kind of talk about some of these pieces. When you go into this, if you click on that link of the career.org clusters, it's going to take you and give you all the information that you can think of to try to gather ideas. Sometimes people like the idea, but they don't know specifically what they want to focus on or where it's going to start, so that can help you have those conversations and boil that down. So you're going to maybe pick a couple of the career clusters or one. It's really up to you. It just gives us some information to help going. And if you go down, then it talks really about what you'd really like to do. That your goal is the opportunity to show us, kind of just put it all down, what's in your head, and say, here's what I want to do. And then what are your thoughts about how you're going to learn it? So really those three essential questions. What are you going to do? What do you want to learn? And then how are you going to show us you're going to learn it? What are some ideas that you think would be really cool? We want you to just think outside the box. Again, the creativity that you have and the ideas you have. The examples we have out there are clearly examples. You have ideas and thoughts on how you can answer these questions. We want you to do that. We're not looking for 5 pages for each of these. We're looking for just really your thoughts and ideas. It doesn't have to take you an hour or 2 hours to figure out, but a little bit of thought. We're going to use that and really try to craft this and talk about it being a good fit for you. So, and then your email address would be great because then we can create really an email contact group list that is involving all the Trek students to send out information and to move it forward. So that's really what is on there. And again, this is the first time, other than our incoming 8th grade students, that have heard this presentation or heard about Trek in any more in-depth way other than what students have seen on the flyer and answered on a questionnaire or seen on the video on the website. So you're the first to have it. After we're going to answer questions a little bit, as you leave here, feel free to share this with friends and people that couldn't be here tonight. I know there's a jazz concert and there's all these things that are happening, but if anybody's interested and they want to do this, you have the keys with you. Nobody else has this opportunity to sign up right now, so please share that with people that you know this can be a fit for, interest for. And then after next Friday, I will then, depending on the numbers that we have, I will then open it up to the rest of the student body to try to fill those 60 spots. Obviously, people couldn't be here tonight, have contacted me directly, so we do have probably another 20 students that are interested in doing this, which is great. But 60 is the goal. If we don't have that much interest, we'll go with who is there and push forward from there. So, is there anything I missed, team? Okay, question time.
So this is for next semester, correct?
This is for next year, first semester. Yep.
We have some students piloting this next semester, so we can get our feedback as well. I think it could.
So this is just a one semester class, or do they continue on if they're successful?
Great question. I actually had it in my emails piece, and I didn't elaborate on it, so thank you for asking that question. We're open to any proposal that is going to make sense for the student. If the student has a good plan and it's a year-long or 2-year-long journey, we're going to allow them to do that. So if this is, we're going to take it on and look at it, have a lot of conversation. If it fits and it's going to work, we're going to let you do that. So over multiple years, also multiple hours. For upperclassmen especially, they have lots of elective hours. So if you want to have an experience that you're embedded with, your family owns a business and you want to do some work in there and you're going to spend time there and do certain pieces, it's going to take you 2 or 3 hours. We talked about the blended piece. You have the opportunity to do that or work those hours to enhance your experience that you created and set goals for. We want to provide you the opportunity to do that. So those are both on the table. For us starting small and trying to keep it simple, we're basically saying 1 hour, 1 semester, but we are open to any proposals that any of you have.
But likewise, if a student has 2 areas they're passionate about, and there are 2 different career clusters. They could be in Trek for one of those in 1 hour, and Trek for another one in another hour. But again, that'd be 2 of the 60 seats that we have taken up. But these are all possibilities.
Would the student be engaging in two group projects then, or would they be in
Correct.
one? They would be in two, and then are those
Absolutely.
group projects lasting a singular semester? So there are two for each, like, as they go through the year, or are the group projects lasting a whole year?
I think it depends on the group and what they want to accomplish.
The vision right now is if you have a group project, it's going to be semesterized based on who comes in and out. And then if you go a second semester, you have a new group you work with and do a second
If
piece.
you have your two students that are staying for a year, and the person they're staying for a year, are you going to put them together in a group so they can work on that group project
For
for
sure.
a whole year? Or are you trying to keep the students that are staying along together?
You're in charge of that.
Oh,
We're not, right?
Yes,
And this is a personalized learning plan, right?
we would want,
Okay.
we would want to group you.
Okay.
So you can-
would group them.
Absolutely.
As we look into the specifics of class times, will we have all of our administration, as you guys are here now, available to us? Will we assign a certain content per the class?
When your contact will be your teacher, that hour will be your primary contact and the person you'll work with.
So we'll have one person for that class of the hour.
Correct.
Will that be in relation to our course of study?
We would like to say yes, but I had a student earlier today talking about biochemistry. And there is a chance that even as an art teacher, depending on how the schedule would fall, I would possibly have a student like that.
But like, luckily, we have a lot of experts in this building that can help us help that student find attention.
What if 3-4 weeks in, they decide that they don't want to pursue the field that they thought they wanted to? Is there a limit as to how many times they can change, or do they see it out through the whole thing because there's a project now that's based on it?
Again, we want to work with the student. If the student's demonstrating they can have a meaningful experience continuing on, and it's going to meet the criteria for that experience, we're going to go with it. I expect change to happen. I expect them to stay and keep navigating and pushing forward, because they're going to learn through that process, right? In the first 3 weeks, they've thought, they've researched, they've done goal setting, they're gathering information on what they are steering towards they may want to do. So it sounds good to start, but we expect that to happen, so we want to keep them pushing on.
Monitoring and gathering.
So if they did want to change it and they had the opportunity to shadow a whole different field, they would just need to get caught up on that project somehow.
Right. Again, set a plan that would make sense.
In my experience doing projects like this, in other classes, when that happens, getting caught up goes like that, because they finally the student realizes, I really want to now, I was messing around with this, I now want to do this, and also the motivation level goes up. And they get caught up intrinsically, very quickly. Colin, there.
Yes, I do. So the rubric, is that only getting a full semester grade or will it be project-based?
Yeah, it's a semester grade, but if you take it for a year, you would earn a full.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Right.
You would at the very least get half the credit.
Okay, yeah, so it wouldn't be just grading, each individual project or,
If you want to create, if the one project you want to create is so encompassing, it's going to take a year, you will get a year.
We're going to grade you on, if it's a year-long project, we would grade you on your semester progress. So we would, your teachers would have your journey, you're going to show us that journey and document it through your goal setting and really going public reflections. And all the things you're doing are going to be there for us to assess you through that rubric.
okay.
At
Semester for a grade, and then at the end of the year.
At semester, you show us your project up to this point, right? And you grade it.
If I was a student asking that question, I think what I would be trying to ask is, so you've got all these steps, is each of these steps being graded and combined to the end? Or if I manage to pull it together in the last 3 days of the semester,
What?
I'm just suggesting that there may be students who do that, possibly. If they manage to pull this off, is it something that it's going to be graded as it goes along?
You will definitely practice along the way, absolutely.
There are assessment checkpoints along the way, yes.
They're already in our calendar, look closely at those, the assessment checkpoints. Again, the continuous goal setting will be there, and the teachers will have very intimate knowledge of what is happening in the rubric together.
So the checkpoints, so they factor into the final grade then?
Yes, all the assessment, yes, the checkpoints are back. They're like summative checkpoints.
Okay.
Well, and it's something that I've done with my higher level kids because we do independent projects. And I get those every semester where they don't do so hot most of the semester and all of a sudden they want to pull it forward or together. And doing weekly or every other week check-ins and then putting it into Infinite Campus, there will be a live report of you guys so you can understand where it is that you're as a student, your grade would be. And then as a parent, where your son or daughter would be as well. The other thing is Mr. Pat showed a weekly goal sheet for kids. The final day is a reflective piece, not just reflect upon what was, like how that student handled their goal for the week, but to also include actual links to anything that they completed for the week. So it's a check-in. It's the evidence showing what they did for the week.
Good question.
All great questions.
So,
I still don't get it. So, I mean, so it's a classroom experience, each have their individual projects. And it seems like there's a lot of skills that need to be taught with this goal setting. You know, if you want to shadow someone, how should you get the best experience from them and questions to ask? So are there topics that you're teaching them along that help
Yes,
them in
absolutely. So we showed you kind of a week by week that just talked about like day 1 and 2 would be classroom setting. We would have a group day in there and then maybe a blended day where the kids can exchange some time potentially. We will have topics, not only dictated by us as the instructors, to help students with communication skills, how to write an email. Oh my gosh. You guys need help with it. I need help. Right? Salutations, things like that. Don't use smiley face. The other thing too is we're going to take requests from kids. So if I've got a student who is going to be working with a professional photographer, okay, do I show up with the camera? Do I not show up with the camera? Do I tell them that I only have a little point and shoot? So yeah, we will be working with them on that kind of stuff.
so it's twofold. We have, so when you go through a project, there's really steps in going through a project. How are you going to research it? What do you do? Who do you contact? You research, you contact, you apply the information, you have the proposal, then you implement, then you assess, gather information, assess, and then share out what has happened. So we're going to teach that process and stick to the process. Like any classroom, our targets are there. We saw the room that we have in those pieces. As the teachers are going through the class, whatever they're not meeting and whatever we're seeing, the teachers are going to take a step back and say, okay, you can call it a seminar day, whatever. We really need to focus on this piece that I think everybody is missing, or pull kids aside individually to work on and focus on those pieces. And that's really what's going to continue to drive it. So is it specifically a curriculum that says you're focusing on this specific way to do things? Not necessarily. It's really that rubric will drive it. The essential questions will drive it, but it's truly a real-world experience of going through that process of the project, checkpoints along the way, setting, resetting goals, and ultimately meeting a goal to get assessed on how you did along the way. So a couple of visionary pieces, just so you understand our thinking. What we really tried to show tonight was really our thinking and our thought process. This is, again, the starting place. These are the experience of the pilot this semester. So we've only been doing this for about 4 months, really, 3 months. So the experience of our pilot group will be critical. These documents you saw up here are going to continue to be molded and changed and modified based on our experiences and feedback from students and processes. So we're not, the people here aren't going to be guinea pigs, for lack of a better term, but they're going to have an opportunity to really do some cool stuff. And I know that I expect us to have examples that are going to be amazing with what your kids can do. And that's really the opportunity for them to do that they haven't had before. Where through passion, we expect motivation, right? You get to do this, and you get to find that path. Now we expect you to roll with it and then be motivated to do some of these real world life skills, to take something on and have a finished product where you talk to adults, have an experience, advocating for yourself, or build relationships, whatever it may be. Some of the visionary pieces are us then working with local businesses or local partners to start to bring them into the fold. You heard job shadowing, kids calling and doing things and working with outside interests. We want to start to get projects in here for proposals. So if I can work with 30 local companies, businesses in the area, and they can come in and get a 5-minute proposal because they have a need in their business that's specific, and it's a passion for a student that wants to be a Trek student, and they say yes, then they have their project and they have their person, and they're going to spend a lot of time with that person going through this process to enhance that experience. So that's really something we would take a look at in their project set for them, and they can kind of do that outside, and we're really the research and continue them on the path here at West High School. That's really a visionary piece and a future piece. But based on what happens and what fits our school and our community and our kids, we're gonna take the same path as the kids are taking as we continue to practice. But that's one visionary piece. Another visionary piece is really looking at you can look at like high-tech highs out there, Valley New School. These are places that do some things like this. And the projects that they do is starting to do more in-house project-based pieces where kids can have a room and start to build some of these things right here at West High School, where really next year is the students kind of using a lot of outside work, contacting people, going on their own, and then researching here, but documenting that experience and bringing it back in a way that is meaningful, that is going to take time, and they do a nice job with it.
So you're really taking kids out of the virtual world into the real world again. It seems to be in the past years, kids have been losing so much communication skills as they've been getting into technology that they can't function. Whereas I see this program here is forcing kids to interact with the world.
Well, we definitely are promoting collaboration. The group project is part of that. Let's continue to collaborate around something that we have to work towards a common goal. We have to figure out the goal, then we have to work towards it, and then we have to accomplish it, and we're going to assess each other. That's a little scary for some kids, but you know what? That's what you know you're going to sign up for, and that's a positive. Yes, we definitely want them to interact, but we also want them to use technology in the ways that they know how to be creative to show us that learning experience through digital portfolios, through different video pieces, through iBooks, whatever it may be, in a way that they're used to doing, that is going to show that journey in a positive way.
I think it should be a marriage of live sources and electronic sources. Because right now, the only live source the typical student has is the adult in the classroom. And we want to expand the old live sources to others, and also people using technology to also learn what it is the student wants to learn, but learn also to communicate out.
Yes.
So there's a lot of talk about shadowing and volunteering. Are you going to help them, like maybe make some of those contacts, or they will expect to do all that on their own, or do you have ideas for them? Or?
Yes, they're expected to do it on their own as much as they can, but obviously our staff here is going to. So we put a list of roles for a Trek teacher, and it's 15 to 20 long, which includes being a mentor, helping kids make connections, make contacts. So that's definitely a role. And based on the student and the situation, they're going to support them in the way that they need to. It's going to be so personalized that, yes, they will. We'll be there as a person. Okay, well, we are 10 minutes ahead of schedule. It's never happened to me in any meeting I've ever run. I try not to ramble. So stay around, ask any questions you'd like to. I'm going to stay here for a while. If you go home and have questions, contact information. Again, any one of the teachers here are open for that. But if you want to come in and meet with me to get more information, to talk about what it could look like, you still have questions, you're confused, please do that. And at the end of the day, we don't know exactly what it's going to look like, but we know kind of what we're heading. And we're excited for the opportunity for the kids, and they're going to shape this and roll with it in a way that, again, our minds can't imagine. So, thank you so much for coming out tonight. I hope it was worth your time. So, again, sign-up sheets are there for those that are interested.